It was not something we anticipated, but we made it, I think, the right change. Standards-based grading and reporting changes will be developed by April 29th and approved by the board on May 18th. Well, needless to say, we are not implementing standard-based grading, but we did revise the report cards. So that decision was, I think in January, we talked about that particular change. And then finally, the software to support the standards-based grading and reporting system has been tested and is in place by June 2nd. Well, that decision has been made, and so far so good. Skyward, I think, was a really good choice, and we will be implementing next year.
Implementing Skyward next year, right? That's what you said. I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
Forget
Yes,
it.
implementing Skyward next year. Right. Move on.
Well, the goal was to develop the work for the standards-based grading and reporting system. So is it done deal? We're not doing it anymore? I know you've been talking about we're not doing it at the start of the year. I mean, what's the
Curriculum
standing?
Council won't be able to revisit this at least until after the first grading period, because they're going to be, as we've just had all this discussion about implementing new assessments, implementing the report card, so it'll be at a minimum after the first trimester before the council even begins discussing it again.
So they'll revisit it at the first grading period, the first trimester. Is that what you said? Because, I mean...
No earlier than after the first trimester.
Okay, because grading period at the elementary school is a little sooner.
Correct, but we want to go through a grading cycle at each school before we take on anything else, because we're going to have our hands full. And we hope it all goes smoothly, but it's...
Are we looking in that direction, or we just don't know? We have no idea?
No decision has been made. Communication, first goal, reconstitute the core planning team by adding members to replace parents and students no longer serving on the team. That was done last fall. Inform the community of communication protocols to maximize efficiency and effectiveness of communication methods. I worked with the communication committee to develop those procedures. They are in the board brochure. They're in the inside cover of the directory, and they were disseminated to each family. Emergency notification procedures, those are on the website, and Expedite was used, and they worked for our 2 snow days. Nobody came.
Wait a second. Are you serious? Nobody came?
Nobody was supposed to.
Nobody was supposed to.
Oh, but there were people that came. I know one family that called me in the morning and said, hey, there's nobody here at school. What's going on? And I'm
Really?
like, honest to God. And I said, are you the only one there? He said, no, there's about 5 other cars. I swear to God, I can give you the parent's name.
That would be news to me. Okay.
Well, yes, we wouldn't know because we weren't there.
Yeah, at the elementary school. I know that. People were
All
there.
right.
Oh, boy. Well,
Okay. And then communication responsibilities of staff, parents, and students. As I mentioned, the brochure and the directory were disseminated. Communication procedures including school directory. I've said that twice already. Number 3, connect with groups in the community who do not have students attending Pleasantdale to inform them of events and other items that may be of interest. Well, we met with some of the seniors and tried to get ways to find out more about how to access the seniors. The thing about that here in this community is the seniors are really not organized in the way you might expect in terms of a senior center or that kind of thing. We had better luck going through the veterans, which many of those were seniors, and we've increased. That was a good thing. We did.
Mark, I just want to go back. You mean it like in terms of having one centrally located
Correct.
senior center?
Right.
You know,
Because-
whereas the park districts could have programs or the communities
Right.
could have programs, but one area that all the seniors kind of come to.
Yeah, and
They go to many different,
They go to many
St. John of the
different-
Cross, and, you know, a whole bunch of
Especially
different ones that are in the
being 5
area.
different communities.
There's so many
and, too,
areas for
each
them to
town
go to,
they have their
yeah.
own.
So that was just one thing you came across that, you know.
Yeah, we met with well-known seniors in the community. Unfortunately, one passed away, and we got input from them and suggestions. And
How many seniors were there? Did you meet with?
I think how many were there? How many lunches did we have? I don't remember.
5 maybe.
Yeah.
5 seniors in the
5,
community?
6, yeah.
And then where did you find the veterans? If the seniors don't have a center, do the veterans?
Well, the veterans are much better organized, and for example, Jack Shawis is a former school board member here
Yeah, I
in
know Jack.
Pleasantdale, and
He's heavily connected.
he's heavily connected
with the
through that.
seniors.
And, so many of these people who are active in the veterans associations are seniors. So what we did is we recruited additional veterans at both schools again. So we've done more with the veterans than we've ever done. That's probably the avenue to get, that kind of crowd in there. Any more questions on seniors? Okay, alumni, we did our alumni survey. The results were very favorable. Families of private school students, that communication was largely around the busing option. So we mailed them the board's decision to continue doing that. And that's basically it for that one. Content and methods to establish two-way communication with identified groups are developed. So obviously our website, the community newsletter, we did recruit for the first time actually a communication expert of sorts to help us with the newsletter. And I think the quality of that improved a lot. Then, then the two-way communication identified, initiated, so that was that.
Did you also did online surveys? I don't remember doing that.
I think I disseminated those in a weekly
Maybe not the
update.
specific, but maybe just kind of generalities, certain percentages.
I know I included it kept the board informed that we did the survey or whatever. I mean, I have the results.
Which survey was it, Karen?
OT alumni.
That
I
we
never
did in
saw
like a
it.
weekly packet or something.
How many alumni did you get?
I don't remember seeing
I think the response rate was I don't want to give you a number. It was more than 100, I think, that did respond. Erica, do you remember the response rate?
Yeah, I mean, maybe about 120, 30, I don't remember off the
From
top of my head.
2007, was it?
We did the last 4 years,
4 years?
so they would at least remember that their kids were in Pleasantdale.
So you reached out to the parents?
Yeah, we mailed them to the parents.
Oh, so not the actual kids. I was wondering.
Yeah, we were after the parents' perspective.
Oh,
All right.
Could we just, maybe ask that if you could find the results, forward them to, because,
absolutely.
it may very well be that you remember them just because of your work on the committee. Perhaps that's where you saw them.
I thought we
But
got
yet,
I thought we
I
got
can't
it, though.
remember. I can't remember
more like
for
a
sure either.
synopsis in the board packet.
Yeah, well, it's no big deal to do that. Okay, where am I? Okay, number 4 was, had to do with the board communication of the community. I mentioned the brochure was updated and disseminated. And that was the condition of satisfaction there. Next one, inform parents of upcoming curriculum changes and address concerns proactively so they understand the support changes. Well, one thing we discovered there is that the written communication for the standards-based grading just was inadequate, no doubt about it. That was exacerbated by the fact that STI couldn't produce what they committed to, so that didn't help either. We did have 3 to 4 parent meetings on curriculum, and then we had a town hall meeting, and then of course the parent advisory committee. So I think what we learned from that is it really has to be a face-to-face experience to have people really understand those kind of changes. Then last, monitor and evaluate implementation of communication action plans. The biggest deal right here came from the core team. If you remember, the core team reviewed that plan and said that the thing that needs to be changed is STI. And that we met at the end of October, and it was already determined at that point that it was, it just couldn't be repaired, that we had to go with a new.
Adequate for our needs.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And so we did that. We formed a parent group to help us with that. In terms of selecting the software, we had an internal group, and I think we did a thorough job. And I think from what we're seeing so far, the decision is the right one.
can I go back to numbers 5? You said the conditions and satisfaction. What were they? It said the parents report that they are adequately informed. You said the biggest problem was STI?
No, there were two.
I'm sorry.
There were two issues. One is that even though we put out considerable written communication, that was really inadequate for parents to understand the complexity of this kind of change. And unequivocally, the STI failed in terms of what the company committed to provide.
So when you, since I'm new, I just know, condition of satisfaction, is that we didn't satisfy that, or, I mean, did we, how do we, what are we doing, like, are we checking off what we've done, or what we've accomplished, or?
Mhm.
Okay, so, okay.